You know what's messed up? You've been working hard, maybe harder than anyone around you. You wake up early, you stay up late. You read the books, you watch the videos, you set the goals, you do the habits. And still, nothing is really changing. And somewhere in the back of your head, maybe you don't say it out loud, but somewhere in there, you've thought it. What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you, but something is leaking. Imagine you're carrying a bucket. Every single day, you pour into it. Effort, discipline, energy, time, sacrifices. But the bucket has holes. 10 of them, and everything you pour in is quietly draining out the bottom while you keep pouring from the top, wondering why the bucket never fills. That's you right now. That's most people forever. Not because they're weak, not because they lack talent, but because nobody ever showed them where the holes are. Today, I'm showing you the 10 holes. The 10 things that are silently draining your power right now, and more importantly, I'm going to show you how to seal them. Quietly, without drama, without telling a single person you're doing it. Because here's the rule that everything in this video depends on. Tell no one, not your best friend, not your partner, not your followers, not even the person you trust most. I'll explain exactly why in a second, and when I do, it'll make complete sense. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the last elimination, number 10, is the one that controls all the others. Miss it, and none of the rest will stick. If you've ever felt like you're putting everything in and getting nothing back, subscribe right now, because this channel is where that changes. Hit the bell. You'll want to see what comes next. Why silence is the strategy. Here's something most people get completely backwards. They decide to change, and the first thing they do is announce it. I'm cutting toxic people out. I'm done explaining myself. New chapter, new me. And it feels good to say. It feels like progress, just saying it. But what actually happens when you announce a transformation? 3 things, and none of them are good. First, the people who benefit from you staying weak. They immediately try to pull you back. They don't do it, obviously. They do it disguised as love, as concern, as I'm just worried about you. Second, the people who tried to change and failed. They discourage you, not out of cruelty, out of their own wound. Misery doesn't just love company, it recruits it. Third, the people who are secretly threatened by your growth. They use your announcement against you. They watch for every moment you slip. They remind you of what you said. They count your failures. Every transformation you announce becomes a battle you have to fight on top of the transformation itself. So don't announce it. Don't post about it. Don't ask for accountability partners. Don't look for people to be proud of you. Just quietly become someone different. By the time anyone notices, it's already done. The window to stop you, closed. You already walked through it in silence. That's the strategy. Now, let's seal the holes. Leak number 1, explanations. Think about the last time someone questioned a decision you made. Maybe it was small, why you left the party early, why you said no to something, why you're doing things a certain way. What did you do? You explained. You justified. You made your case. You tried to get them to understand. And here's what actually happened in that moment. Whether you noticed it or not, you handed them the judge's seat, and you walked into the courtroom as the defendant. Because the second you explain, you're asking for a verdict, and people will give you one. They'll poke holes in your logic. They'll argue with your reasons. They'll make you defend something that never needed defending in the first place. Your explanation created the trial. Here's the silent seal. Just stop explaining. Not dramatically. Not with an announcement. You don't say, I don't explain myself anymore, because guess what that is? Another explanation. Someone questions you. You say, because I wanted to. Or you say nothing. You smile. You move on. At first, they'll push harder. They're used to getting explanations from you. They've been conditioned to expect them. But when they consistently get nothing, they stop asking. They adapt. And they'll never even know you changed intentionally. You just became someone who doesn't explain. Like it was always true. There's a massive difference between the person who announces they don't explain themselves and the person who simply doesn't. One is a target. One is a mystery. Be the mystery. Leak number 2, availability. You are too easy to reach. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a diagnosis. You respond to messages within minutes. You're free whenever someone wants to hang out. You say yes to requests before you even finish reading them. And the brutal truth, the more available you are, the less people value you. Think about the people you value most in your life. Are they the ones who respond instantly, who are always free, who never make you wait? No, the people you value are the ones whose time feels limited, whose attention feels like it actually means something when you get it. You pursue what feels scarce. You take for granted what's always there. So here's the silent seal. You don't announce you're becoming less available. You just become less available. You let messages sit a little longer. You say, I can't make it more often. Not to be difficult, but because your time actually starts to matter to you first. You create scarcity without ever using the word. People will notice. They'll assume you're busy, important, in demand. And that assumption, that becomes their reality, which becomes your reality. I want you to actually think about this. How many hours a week do you spend on relationships, conversations, or commitments that give you nothing back? Be honest with yourself. The number might surprise you. Leak number 3, emotional reactions. Every emotion you show in public is information. And information, in the wrong hands, is a weapon. When people know what upsets you, they can upset you on purpose. When they know what excites you, they can dangle it. When they see your face shift, when someone says a certain thing, they bookmark it, file it away, and use it later. You've been handing out a user manual for how to control you. Every reaction, every flinch, every moment your voice changed, that was a page in the manual. Here's the seal. You don't announce you're working on your reactions. That signals weakness. It tells them, I know you can get to me. Instead, you just pause. Something happens. Before you respond, you pause. You feel the reaction rising, and you make a choice about what to show, not nothing. Showing nothing is suspicious, but controlled response instead of automatic reaction. Gradually, people stop knowing what you're thinking. They try the things that used to work, and they get nothing. And without a map to follow, they can't manipulate what they can't read. You become impossible to control, quietly, naturally, without a single announcement. Leak number 4, free advice. How much of your best thinking have you given away for free? Think about it honestly. Problems you solved for someone who never said thank you. Strategies you handed over that someone else executed and got credit for. Ideas you shared casually that made someone else's life better while you moved on and got nothing. Your insight is finite. Your time is finite. Your mental energy is finite. And you've been treating it like a gas station, giving out free fuel to anyone who pulls up. Here's the silent seal. Stop volunteering. Someone mentions a problem, you listen. You nod. You don't immediately become their solution. If they ask for help directly, you pause. You ask what they've already tried. You make them show up before you invest. And when something is truly valuable, you find the exchange, not always money. Sometimes a favor. Sometimes just respect. Sometimes you simply don't give it because they haven't earned it yet. You don't announce you're doing this. You just seem more thoughtful, more measured, more selective. And selective people are taken seriously. Generous dual-fault people are taken advantage of. Leak number 5, comfort friendships. This one is uncomfortable because it involves people you actually care about. But here's the question you have to ask and answer honestly. After you spend time with certain people in your life, do you feel more like yourself or less? Do you feel energized or drained? Do you leave those conversations moving toward something or standing still? Some of the relationships you're maintaining right now aren't friendships. They're habits. You keep them because ending them feels mean, because you've known each other forever, because it would be weird to just stop. But weird for who? Them or you? Here's the silent seal, and this is important. You don't have the conversation. You don't sit someone down and explain that the friendship isn't serving your growth. That creates enemies. That creates people who make it their mission to paint you as cold, arrogant, changed. You just fade. Slower replies. Fewer initiations. Less presence. Never rude, never cold. Just gradually less. The relationship dies of natural causes. No one can point to a moment, No one has a reason to be angry. Life just happened. And you moved on without ever officially moving on. If this is landing for you, if you're watching this and recognizing yourself in these leaks, subscribe right now. Share this with one person who you think is ready to hear it. Not to announce your change, just because they need this too. The halfway moment, 5 leaks. 5 holes sealed. And here's what I want you to sit with for a second. Most people will never seal even one of these. They'll watch this video, feel something, maybe share it, and go back to explaining themselves and being available to everyone and reacting to everything. Not you. Not if you made it this far. But I have to be honest with you. The first 5 were the visible ones. The ones you can see once someone points them out. The next 5 are different. They're the hidden leaks. The ones draining you while you think you're doing everything right. These are the ones that have been invisible until now. Leak number 6. Visible effort. You've been wearing your struggle like a badge. The late nights, the grind. The I'm exhausted, but I'm not stopping. You share it, you post about it. You want people to see how hard you're working, and I get it. It feels like honesty. It feels like authenticity. But here's what it actually signals to the room. I'm straining. I might break. Competitors see it and press harder. Manipulators see it and get closer. And everyone watching starts to judge. Is the effort worth it? Is this person going to make it? Visible effort invites doubt. Invisible effort creates myth. The most powerful people you've ever admired, they don't look like they're working hard. They just show up with results. Their success seems to appear out of nowhere, and that mystery is part of their power. The silent seal: stop sharing the struggle. Work in private. Appear in public only with results. Let people assume it comes naturally to you. Let them call it talent while you know it's 4 a.m. and discipline and things you'll never post about. Appear effortless. Work harder than everyone broadcasting their grind, and let the results do the talking loudly on your behalf. Leak number 7. Complaints every time you complain. You're making a declaration. Not about the thing you're complaining about yourself. You're telling the room, this is happening to me and I can't do anything about it. That's the signal, and it matters who hears it. Competitors hear it and know you're struggling. Manipulators hear it and see an opening. Negative people hear it and bond with you, and that bond will drag you down, and everyone else quietly files you under. Person things happen too, not person who makes things happen. Complaining makes you relatable to the wrong people, and it makes you look powerless to the right ones. Here's the seal: solve it or exit it, quietly. If something is wrong, you either fix it or you leave. But you don't talk about how bad it is while you stay stuck in it. That's the trap: action or silence. Nothing in between. People will notice you seem less frustrated, less negative, less weighed down. They'll think things are going better for you. And that perception, that starts to become true. Because you stopped feeding the problem with your words and started actually moving. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think of one thing you've been complaining about for more than 3 months without taking action on it. Just one. Now ask yourself, are you going to fix it or are you going to leave it? There's no third option anymore. Leak number 8. Negotiable standards. People have learned something about you. They've learned that your no sometimes means ask again. That your limits have some flex in them. That if they push just enough, you'll adjust. And so they push. Every time. Because it's worked before. You trained them to do this. Not on purpose, but you did. Every time you moved your line, you taught them the line moves. Every time you softened the standard, you showed them standards are soft. And now you live in a world where your boundaries mean nothing, because they've never hit anything solid. Here's the seal: you stop explaining the standard. You just hold it. Someone pushes. You don't argue. You don't justify. You don't get emotional. You just don't move. They push again. You still don't move. Eventually, without a single conversation about it, they learn. Not because you told them, because they ran into something solid enough times that they stopped running into it. Walls don't need announcements. They just need to be walls. Make your standards walls. Leak number 9, information leaks. You tell people too much. Your plans, your fears, your next move, what you're working on. what's stressing you out, what you're hoping for. You share it because it feels like connection, because carrying secrets feels heavy, because you want to be understood. But every time you share your strategy, you give someone the ability to counter it. Every time you share your fears, you hand someone a lever. Every time you talk about what you're building before it's built, you invite opinions, doubt, interference, and sometimes straight up sabotage from people who smile while they undermine. The silent seal. You become boring. Someone asks what you're working on, nothing much. Same old stuff. Someone asks about your plans. Still figuring it out. You give them something that sounds like an answer, but contains nothing. Not mysterious, not secretive, just not that interesting to talk to. And the moment you're not interesting to talk to, people stop trying to extract information from you. They stop prying. They assume there's nothing worth knowing. While you execute moves they never saw coming, because you never leaked the word. The person who commands information commands the room. The person who leaks it is controlled by whoever collects it. Be the vault. Leak number 10. The need for approval. Slow down here. Drop the energy slightly. Let this breathe. We made it to number 10. And I need you to really hear this one, because this isn't just another leak on the list. This is the source of all the other leaks. Think about why you explain yourself. Because you need people to understand you, to approve of your choices. Think about why you stay too available. Because you need people to like you, to feel needed. Think about why you show your emotions. Because you need people to validate what you're feeling. Think about why you give free advice. Because you need people to see you as smart, as valuable, as generous. Think about why you hold on to friendships that drain you. Because you need people to like you, to accept you, to include you. Every single leak on this list, every one has this one thing underneath it. The need for someone outside of you to tell you that you're okay, that you're doing well, that you're making the right choices, that you're enough. And as long as that need exists, as long as you're walking around with that hunger, you will keep creating leaks. You'll seal one and the need for approval will poke a new hole. You'll fix one behavior and the same root cause will express itself in a different way, because the need for approval isn't a behavior. It's a wound. And here's the thing about wounds. You can't tape them. You have to actually heal them. So how do you seal this one? Quietly, without announcing it. You start building an internal voice that's louder than the external ones. You make a decision, and instead of scanning the room to see how people react, you check in with yourself. Does this align with what I actually want? Does this feel right to me? Yes. Done. No external approval required. You do something, and instead of waiting for someone to tell you it was good, you assess it yourself. Was this good work? Am I proud of this? Yes. Done. You don't need the confirmation. It sounds simple. It's not. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes catching yourself every time you reach outward for something you could be giving yourself. But slowly, gradually, you stop needing the audience. You stop performing for the room. You stop adjusting yourself based on who's watching, and something extraordinary happens. When you stop needing approval, you stop explaining, because you don't need anyone to understand. When you stop needing approval, you stop being too available, because your time has value to you now. When you stop needing approval, your standards stop being negotiable, because you're not trying to keep anyone comfortable. Cut the master leak, and the others begin to dry up on their own, not because you forced them, because the thing feeding them is gone. The reflection 10 leaks: explanations, availability, emotional reactions, free advice, comfort, friendships, visible effort, complaints, negotiable standards, information leaks, the need for approval. 10 holes that have been emptying everything you pour into yourself, and now you know where they are. But here's what I want to leave you with, and I mean this. The most powerful version of you isn't louder than who you are right now. It's quieter. It moves less. It says less. It reacts less. It needs less. And somehow, because of all that less, it is more. More present. More solid. More impossible to move. 6 months from now, if you start sealing these leaks today, one by one, in total silence, people are going to look at you differently. And they won't know why. They'll try to figure out what changed. They'll ask questions. They'll say you seem different, and you won't explain it, because that would be leak number one. You'll just smile and keep going. That's the whole game. That's all it ever was. Not louder, not more, not harder, just sealed. If this video hit you somewhere real, somewhere you recognize, drop a comment right now. Write "I remove weakness" in the comments below. Not for me, for yourself. As a quiet commitment, no announcement, no performance. Just one sentence that marks the moment you decided. And if someone in your life needs to hear this, someone who's been pouring everything in and watching it drain, send this to them. Silently, no explanation needed. The next video continues this, and it goes even deeper than this one. You'll want to be there, asterisk.